At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday. It's Giving Tuesday. Today I've got my mug here, kind of in the spirit of giving, if you will. And of course, you can see a big, I'm the board member. I am the board president of Kids Turn, so we're trying to raise some money for them. Of course, a lot of great. I mean, you don't have to just give to Kids Turn, right? There are so many great nonprofits out here in the North State that, just do your research. Figure out who you want to give your money to, who you want to support. And it's actually really easy. I want to show you something. Where do you go to northstategives.org? And number one, you can see that live ticker of the money that's being donated. And so far, over $200,000 have been donated. And for today, at least, you've got 13 hours, 28 minutes, and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 seconds left to donate, at least during this event. You can always go to northstategives.org and check it out. Another thing I want to show you here is it's really easy to do this. So you're at the home page, right? You go to northstategives.org, search and donate. Right, so they give you some 31 results here, and you can just kind of go through if you don't have no idea who you want to go to. Now, you can go in here and you type in, let's say I want to do Kids Turn. Right, there it is. There's Kids Turn. And then you can click on each of those organizations' pages, and you can learn more about what it is that they do for the community. So whatever best suits you, or whatever best, is kind of in your vibe, if you will, what you think is going to be the most beneficial to the community, then you can donate to them. So that's kind of what we're looking at right here. Again, you kind of go back. You can also go to the home page. Let's just go to the home page. And you can see here where most of the money has been donated. You can see kind of a nice little ticker here, Haven Humane Society, just under $5,000 so far. And you can take a look, just kind of who's seen the most and who's seen the least amount. So maybe you want to contribute more to an organization that may not have been getting as much donations, and you want to maybe help out. So it looks like Exodus Farms Ministry is doing quite well at $15,297 so far. But again, you take a look at the top page here. Over $220,000 has been raised. So be sure to go to northstategives.org, and you can help donate and help many of these nonprofits really stay afloat. It's hard in these tough economic times, so it's the help of you that can really make a lot of this possible. All right, let's get into your forecast, shall we? We'll talk about the visibility here a little bit. There's some patchy fog out there. This is something that was expected. One of the things that's different about the fog we're seeing the last few days is the fact that it's just not that widespread dense fog that we saw last week and even this past weekend. So there are some areas seeing worse fog than others. Let's take a look at a couple of cameras out there, and you can see this is Sundial Bridge Drive in Redding on Highway 44. Right, there it is. Now, typically, when you're close to a body of water, like say that of the Sacramento River, all right, sure, you're probably going to see a better chance for some of that fog, but it's foggy nonetheless, right? Now we take a look at Red Bluff. Remember yesterday at this time, there was, I think it was down to a quarter-mile visibility at a point in time yesterday morning. Much better out in Red Bluff this morning. Take you out to Chico. We've got some patchy fog in the Chico area as well, including Butte County, Glenn County. This is look at Main Street, Chico, on Highway 32. You kind of look off. I mean, it's not very dense fog, is it? But you can certainly see that haze, especially from those headlights. By the way, there still is a beach hazard statement. It was supposed to expire at 8 o'clock this morning. They extended it out until 10 a.m. this morning with that beach hazard statement for Humboldt County. And, of course, that includes Del Norte County as well, so just be aware of that. Here's a look at your Krueger's Quickcast for your Tuesday, December 2nd. This morning, it's cold again. Yesterday morning, I'm going to have to take a look at the records, but I think yesterday morning was the first time Redding saw the freezing temperature at 32 degrees. And we're just 1 degree above freezing right now in Redding at 33. 36 degrees in Red Bluff, 37 in Chico. Now, one of the reasons why you see it's not as cold to the south, because we saw some clouds move through last night, and they've been shifting to the southeast this morning. So as the clouds move out, temperatures will start to plummet before the sun rises. Look at that, 20 degrees in Alturas and right around 40 for the coast. Out the door this morning, cold, cold, cold. Any way you look at it, upper 30s in the valley, mid 30s in Trinity County. For the coast, it's warmer in the low 40s, 20s for Modoc County at 8 o'clock this morning. Remember those clouds I was talking about? There it is. That band of clouds pushed through last night. That prevented our temperatures from dropping as cool as they could have. But once it did shift to the south and it cleared out, temperatures dropped pretty quickly. Now, you'll notice there's no rain associated with those clouds. Any of that rain or snow is to the north and east of us with the main area of low pressure. But high pressure is building in behind it, and that's why things are clearing out here for today. Now, you can see the winds. I want to show you this because the winds are going to be playing a factor in our forecast here as we go into tonight and tomorrow. Not necessarily today, but tonight you can see the winds are picking up, and that's going to be the case tomorrow morning. Now, any wind-sheltered areas could still see some fog in the valley, but with the gusty winds that we're expecting, 15, 20, 25 miles an hour, no fog. It's going to scour out any fog that tries to at least develop. I want to show you this here. This might be overdoing it. I think 20% might be a little too high for the weekend, but where you're going to see the best chances for rain over the weekend will be to the north, Siskiyou, Modoc County, and the North Coast, and maybe even Trinity County. We'll get into that in the deeper dive, though, here in just a bit. Taking a look at your temperatures for today, we're talking upper 50s to low 60s in the valley, 40s and 50s for the higher elevations, although low 60s inland and upper 50s for the coast. Taking a look at tonight, another cold night, although with those winds picking up tonight, that is going to prevent us from getting as cold as we've seen the last few nights. So around 40, upper 30s, low 40s for the valley. It really depends on how strong the winds get and how long they last. But look at those overnight lows in Modoc County, Eastern Mountains, teens, low 20s. And then, of course, mid to upper 20s for Trinity County, mid 30s for the inland areas, and looks like upper 30s to low 40s tonight for the coast. So temperature-wise, low 60s for the next 7 days. Now, there's going to be a spike on Friday close to 70 for Redding, as well as Monday. And we're going to see that spike for Red Bluff and Chico as well, just not as big of a spike for Friday and Monday as well, but dry for the next 7 days. Now, for the coast, I'm keeping the chance in there. You may recall, and we're going to talk about this in the deeper dive, but you may recall me mentioning that the European forecast model has been showing no rain. This morning, European forecast models at least bringing that rain a little bit farther to the south. So chances for rain may be a bit higher than originally anticipated yesterday. But bottom line, not a lot of rain. Don't cancel those outdoor plans, even if you see a chance for rain in your area. Mount Shasta, don't cancel it. You just may run into a stray sprinkle or a light shower. That's Saturday, and I think the better chances will be Saturday than Sunday. All right, that's a look at your Krueger's Quickcast. If that's all you needed for the day, hey, have a great day. But if you want to stick around, we're going to talk about the chance for rain over the weekend and what our chances for rain are looking like as we go into next week as well. Looks like the camera's having a bit of an issue down at Lake Oroville, but you can see fairly clear skies out there. But you can see Lake Oroville, North Forebay. We do have some fog over that portion of the lake. We take a look at Main Street, Chico, on Highway 32. We saw this a little bit earlier. You can see some of the fog that you're seeing. Not very dense, still pretty good visibility. Highway 99 at Neal Road. We saw some patchy fog there a little earlier this morning. Looks like that has since then cleared out a little bit here. But again, this is going to be one of those mornings where you're driving along and boom, you hit in a little bit of fog and then you're out of the fog pretty quickly. You can see Sundial Bridge Drive on Highway 44. It looks like we're seeing some fog there. Just be aware of that you may run into some of that fog this morning. Look at Crescent City Harbor District this morning. Absolutely gorgeous. You can see we do have the clear skies out there this morning. Just a couple of passing high clouds. You can see the stars off in the distance, but Bald Hill West, this is typically looking down at Hoopa Valley, and it is sucked in with that fog, at least where the camera is. You can see Mount Shasta. Ooh, beautiful. That's Soda Ridge camera. No fog out there, at least in some of those higher elevations of Siskiyou County. However, if we take a look at Fort Jones, this is Scott Valley. The fog this morning is actually a little bit more dense than it was yesterday at this time. So you can clearly see that, yeah, some fog in some of those mountain valleys. Western Siskiyou County, for example, seeing that fog. I'd say Trinity County, some of those mountain valleys are seeing that fog as well. And maybe even some of the inland areas of Del Norte and Humboldt counties. Pretty typical. Take a look at Lassen Park. We're seeing less and less of that snow. Remember, it was kind of covered in snow. Even the distant mountains were seeing that snow. But really, we've been looking at a lot of that snow melting. Why? Because we're not seeing any more rain or snow. And it just gives that opportunity for that snow that we've already seen to melt. We don't want that to happen. All right. No special segments today, but let's check in with some of you this morning. We've got Curtis Brown checking in this morning saying, good morning, Mike. Yesterday morning was 30 degrees. Remember, I was talking about pretty cold out in Reading at 32. That was the low yesterday. But looks like where Curtis is, just west of Red Bluff, 30 degrees there. Curtis, I believe you're the one with the grapes. Hopefully your grapes are okay. I'm sure you're all prepared for that. We've also got Kenny Elwood. Of course, Kenny Elwood from Elwood Beef, Elwood Ranch, Lassen County Nursery. Good morning to you, Kenny. So good to see you this morning. Hey, by the way, Kenny, I kind of reached out to you yesterday. Love to chat before I head out on my trip. So yeah, give me a call, give me a text, and see if we can meet up this week. I'd love to see what's going on. I know you'd mentioned you got some great projects going on. Love to hear about it. Love to hear about it. And love to talk to you about what's going on with Weather NorCal and some big things happening with us as well. All right, what do you say we get to the forecast and to the deeper dive? But before we get to that, we do need to mention one of our sponsors, and that would be Wind River Resort and Casino. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Oh, Kenny, you're asking today or tomorrow? Okay. Yeah, give me a text. Love to chat today or tomorrow. I'll give you another, just kind of a quick nudge. I'll maybe text you again this morning. See if we can set up a time to meet. We got Sandra. She's saying good morning as well. Good morning. Good morning to you. Beautiful picture. Love that profile picture. Looks nice. All right, got distracted. At Wind River Resort and Casino, enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. Once again, I want to thank Wind River for your support. Taking a look at Coffee with Krueger headlines. Patchy morning fog, cold with areas of frost, breezy north winds by midweek, and there's that chance for showers, especially for the coast and some of the mountains off to the north. All right, let's get into that deeper dive forecast, sponsored by Shasta Hearing Aids.
Frank, come help with the dishes.
What?
The dishes!
I heard it the first time. I just got back from Shasta Hearing Aids, but she doesn't know it yet. What?
Forget it.
Okay, so temperatures this morning, you notice, look at Reading. Oh man, just 1 degree above that freezing point. You can bet there's going to be some patchy frost again this morning. If you have a car outside, you may be dealing with some frost on the windshield. 33 right now at the Reading Airport, but a little bit warmer. Still cold, but warmer in Chico and Oroville. That's because we saw the clouds move from northwest down to the south and east. So they've been socked in with some of the clouds earlier this morning, and that's why it's taking a little bit longer for those temperatures to drop. Now, once the sun comes up, obviously the temperatures won't drop anymore. But there you can see 20 degrees for Alturas, 26 degrees out in Susanville. It's cold off to the north and east, and right around 40 degrees out along the coast. Taking a look at that visibility, and again, we're just going to be looking at that patchy fog this morning for many of you in the valley, but many of the mountain valleys too. You can see some of the dense fog that we're seeing, some of those mountain valleys this morning. So if you are traveling in Trinity County, Western Siskiyou County, do know that there's a very good possibility you'll see some fog there. Also, looks like we're seeing some lower visibility and some patchy fog even off into Modoc County this morning. Now, I want to show you the winds. The winds are a contributing factor to whether or not we see fog, right? Because one of the factors, of course, there's a few things we look at. Humidity, right? How much dew point, temperature, all that stuff. But when you have calm winds, that helps to sustain and keep that fog from really scouring out. However, if you pick those winds up even just a little, 5, 6, 7 miles an hour, that's enough to kind of mix up and scour out that fog and mix it out, and it begins to clear out. So what we're seeing happen here is, as we go into tonight and tomorrow morning, look at the winds. They're blowing pretty strong out of the north at about 20 miles per hour, some of the stronger gusts. And look at some of the foothills east of the valley. You get some of those canyons, very narrow canyons. It really funnels through and it amplifies that wind as it kind of pushes on through. So we typically see some of those stronger winds off to the east as a result. But still a little gusty at times as we go into tonight and tomorrow morning. That will scour out any fog that tries to develop here for the valley. But you'll notice in the mountains, wind's not quite as strong. Now the winds will start to subside as we take into Wednesday afternoon. But notice, even as we go into 8 a.m. Thursday, still a little breezy. We're talking 10, 15 miles per hour for the north end of the valley. But look at this. Chico may be sheltered by some of those winds, which means the potential maybe for some patchy fog in some of those wind-sheltered areas down to the south. We take you into Thursday afternoon. The wind's actually kind of dying down a little bit more. And then it looks like for Friday morning, again, a little breezy to the north, calmer winds, maybe a little bit of fog trying to develop there as well. But again, one of the things I want to stress when I talk about the potential for fog in some of these areas is that it won't be nearly as dense as we saw last week. That event, that fog event that we saw last week, at least for us, it's over, pretty much over with. But we just may see some of that lingering patchy fog throughout the week, especially for places like Glenn and Butte counties. So that's the cloud cover I was talking about last night that moved through this morning. So it cleared out for Redding first, and that's why it got a bit colder, and then eventually it's clearing out here for Chico, minus some of that patchy fog. That dives down to the south. You're seeing a little bit of snow trying to develop in the Sierra, but we're also seeing most of that snow, which isn't all that heavy, to the north and east of us in Montana, working its way into Wyoming. Looks like Utah seeing some of that as well. Meanwhile, things are clearing out for the Pacific Northwest as well, although eastern Washington and Oregon seeing a little bit of light snow for some of those higher elevations. Meanwhile, we've got high pressure building in. That's what's going to give us those clear skies. But also that storm that you saw, that's riding up and over this ridge of high pressure. As a result, we stay dry. But this is the reason why I talked about those winds, right? Picking up tonight, tomorrow morning. There it is. This is what's known as an inside slider. This is an area of low pressure that comes down from the northwest, works its way to the south and east. There's that inside slider, if you will. One of my old reporter friends always say it sounds like a baseball term, the inside slider, right? But no, that's not the case. It's actually a weather term. And this is one of the reasons why we're seeing those gusty winds. You got high pressure to our west, low pressure to our east, that little squeeze play, if you will. And you can see these lines here, what we call isobars. They're areas of equal pressure. And so you go from low pressure to high pressure. The winds blow from high to low. So kind of what happens is we see that begin to filter down, right? So there you can see, there it is. And that's the filtering winds that we have, giving us some gusty winds at times as we go into tonight, tomorrow morning. Now, once that low pressure moves on out, all right, the winds will start to subside a bit. A little breezy at times, but the rain stays to our north. Now, take a look at this. As we go into Saturday, you can see that system which will just clip Northern California as we go into Saturday and Sunday. Now, I think the best chances for rain will be, number one, for the North Coast, and especially northern Humboldt, Del Norte. I'd say Trinity County, especially northern Trinity County, Siskiyou, northern Siskiyou, and northern Modoc County as well. Anywhere to the south of that should remain dry. And the best chances of those places will be Saturday. Then, as we go into Sunday, another just a weak clipping system for all the same areas, but the chances do look to be a little bit slimmer as most of it's to the north. Then high pressure builds back in for Monday, Tuesday of next week. That keeps all that rain to our north. So yes, we've got the chances for showers, but it's nothing to write home about. This is not going to put snow on the mountain from Mount Shasta or the ski park, right? We need that snow in order for you to go skiing or snowboarding. It doesn't look like that's going to happen this week or most likely even next week as well. In fact, this really illustrates what it's looking like here as we go through somewhere around mid-December. You can see drier than normal conditions for the most part for all of California, but you can see where most of the rain is. The Pacific Northwest, some of that just trying to clip Northern California. That's the system coming in this weekend, and maybe another one coming in sometime around middle to latter part of next week. But overall, most of the rain is to our north. We stay fairly dry, at least through mid-December. Now, as a result, too, high pressure is that feature that's preventing us from seeing as much rainfall. And as a result, our temperatures are going to be above normal. In fact, we take a look at the 10-day trend for Redding. The normal high is about 58 degrees. But we're going to be above that, really, for the next 10 days. Barely, right, as we go into today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, a little spike on Friday, and then another little drop, and then another little spike mid to upper 60s by really through most, if not all of next week. If you like the warmer temperatures, great, but we could certainly use the rain. We could certainly use the snow in the mountains, and it doesn't look like we have much. And it'd be nice to fill up the lakes too, although the lakes are still fine. When you look at the historical average, we're still 100% or higher. That's good. And in fact, we've really been that way through the summer. They've been dropping, obviously, but we've kept it above 100%, with the exception of, I think it was a few weeks ago, over a month ago, Lake Oroville did drop down just below 100%. I think are 98, 99%. Back up to about 100% at this point. But you can see a minor drop there and a very small increase over the last 24 hours for Shasta Lake and Trinity Lake as well. The wave heights are actually increasing a little bit here, and then they start to drop again going into your Wednesday. Now, as a result, no small craft advisory this morning, but there will be a small craft advisory this afternoon. So if you need to be on a small boat, maybe that morning fishing is going to be your best bet, because by the time you go into the afternoon, yeah, those wave heights are going to get a bit higher. Here's your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. Looking at Trinity County for today, temperatures are going to be right around 60. Now again, nothing to write home about. If you see the word chance in your 7-day forecast, don't cancel your outdoor plans, because anything we do see is going to be light. I'd say, as you head into southern Trinity County, I'd say your chances are most likely very slim for anything as far as rain is concerned. Same story for southern Humboldt, but still that chance as we go into your Saturday, Sunday. There it is for Ferndale, about 57 degrees, 58 degrees for Fortuna, and Rio Dell, about 55 degrees. Up north, 59 degrees out in Trinidad, 61 degrees in Hoopa, 62 for Willow Creek. And farther to the north, 55 degrees. Gasquet, 59 for Orleans, and Smith River, about 63 degrees. Here's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, and you can see temperatures mid to upper 50s for Highway 96 along I-5 there, looking at temperatures around 50. I do have that chance for showers for Wairika Saturday, Sunday. In fact, I'd say the chances for Wairika are higher chances for rain than, say, Mount Shasta, for example. Scott Valley, you can see a slight chance as well. Temperatures will be in the low 50s for your daytime highs today. And for central and eastern Siskiyou County, we're talking upper 40s to low 50s for your daytime highs. Let's take a look at Modoc County, Newell, Fort Bidwell. I think you got better chances than, say, California Pines or Alturas or Likely or Aden to see some of that rain or even some of that snow as you go into some of the higher elevations. But I'm still keeping that chance in there for all of Modoc County through the day Saturday and Sunday. Now, we take a look at the eastern mountains, and you can see temperatures mainly in the 50s. You'll notice, don't put the word chance in there for Bernie, because I think most will be north of Bernie. I think most will be north of Lake Almanor and Lassen Park, hence no chance for rain or snow. Low 50s for Lake Almanor Peninsula, 56 degrees in Chester, and Westwood, about 52 degrees today. And take it out of the south. Notice, no rain in the forecast there either for Saturday or Sunday. Susanville, you'll top out at 59 degrees today, 57 degrees in Paradise. Take you to the valley to the south. Notice no rain in the forecast there, but we are seeing a slight drop in temperatures around 60 degrees. Taking a look at your 7-day forecast for Chico, upper 50s through Thursday, low 60s Friday through the weekend, and around 63 degrees on Monday, but no rain. 61 degrees for Redding, 61 degrees for Palisadro, and Cottonwood 62 for a high today in Whiskeytown. Looking at that 7-day forecast for Redding, here we've got, looks like temperatures low 60s through Thursday, upper 60s by the time we get into Friday. Actually a little bit of a spike in the temperatures. I mean, we're flirting with that 70-degree mark by the time we get into Friday. Saturday, Sunday, low 60s. Monday, about 67 degrees. So there you go. That is your forecast. Looking pretty good if you like the warmer temperatures. Not so great if you want to see that rain. Again, I want to remind you that today is Tuesday. It's Giving Tuesday. I'm going to give you a quick reminder on where you can go and how easy it is for you to donate. First and foremost, here you go. There it is, North State Giving Tuesday. Go to northstategives.org. We're going to take a look at a website here. Look at that. It's updating live. Remember, at the top of the show, it was just over $200,000. Now we're at $226,323. There you can see so far there have been 1,656 donations. That is fantastic. That is awesome. Good morning, Bill Carlton. I see you there. And there you can see, again, just real quickly, search and donate. And you can type in, of course, I've got my kids now. Let's see if there's there's some that are called Safe Place, right? One Safe Place. There you go. You can go in there and you can click on that. What's One Safe Place all about? Well, you can see that they've raised over $10,000 and you can learn more about what their programs are all about. So that's the beauty of this. You don't have to just blindly give to different places because of the title of their organization. You can actually read more about them, what they're doing for our community, and how beneficial they are. And if that's what's something that really resonates with you, then great. That's where you can give your money. Let's do this together. Let's make this one of the best years that North State Giving gives, and you can do that. North State Giving Tuesday. And let's kind of take it down here, as powered by the Community Foundation of the North State, which they are an amazing organization in and of itself, right? Because they really help to bring in those dollars for the nonprofits, and those as someone who is a board member of a nonprofit, I am so grateful for what they do for our community and what they do for our nonprofits as well. So a big shout out to the Community Foundation of the North State as well. So grateful for what they do. So once again, go to northstategives.org and you can check that out. We got a couple of people checking in. We got Bill Carlton saying good morning this morning. Good morning this morning. Good morning, Mike. Good morning to you, Bill Carlton. We've got Jackie Dixon, one of our regulars, saying good morning and have a great day. I certainly appreciate it. I always love to see a lot of the regular shiny faces this morning. Here you can see Catherine Schmidt is saying we need to do the snow dance. What does that snow dance look like? I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm not the best dancer in the world, so maybe I'm not the best person to do that snow dance. Then we've got Sandra. This is a new name. Nice to see. I think I mentioned you a little bit earlier, but it's always nice to see some of the new names as well. So I certainly appreciate that. And people kind of checking in and see what's going on this morning. You know what? Since we're kind of having a little bit of fun here, let's take a look at, let's see if it's kind of up and ready to go here. It's not, but we can do that real quick here. Calendar. Yes, nationalcalendar.com. There we go. Let's see what's going on with the national days today. Let's see. Today's December 7th. Birthdays. World Trick Shot Day. Do you do trick shots with your basketball? I know I can't do any of that. National Giving. There it is. There's Giving Tuesday. National Day of Giving. Tuesday after Thanksgiving. That's always every year, right? Ooh, National Fritters Day. That sounds good. National Mutt Day, July 31st through December 2nd. So obviously it's celebrating the dogs that have, I don't know, all kinds of breeds in them, otherwise known as mutts, right? But they're still lovable dogs, right? They're awesome. I've had a few mutts myself. National Special Education Day is for December 2nd. So very fun, very good stuff here. Once again, I want to thank you all for checking in this morning. And one last check. Go to northstategives.org today and find out what organization you want to help support. That is so awesome. We got more people checking in. All right. Good morning. Good to have you back. I am happy to be back. Do want to know and let you all know that this is going to be a short week for me again. I've got a conference to go to at the end of the week, and I'm leaving on early Thursday morning. I'm still going to be able to give you your morning update on Thursday, but I won't be live on Coffee with Krueger Thursday. That's the one day I won't be able to go live, but Chase Wilson will be filling in for me, and he'll be doing the noon and 6 p.m. update on Thursday. Now, for my remote location in Tennessee where I'll still be able to do Coffee with Krueger Friday morning. I plan on doing my live show Friday morning, but I'm still going to have Chase do my weather updates because I'm going to be busy with the conference and I need to focus on that a little bit here. But Chase will be filling in for me on Friday, giving you your 6 a.m., noon, and 6 p.m. updates as well. And of course, he'll be there for the weekend. And then Aurora Murray, our new meteorologist here on staff, will be back on Monday to give you your forecast. And then I'll be back next Tuesday. So you'll get used to it. We're going to kind of get in the flow of things, but getting everything started. Of course, I was gone last week for Thanksgiving. I'm going to be gone this weekend for the conference, but once we get past the conference, things should be back to normal for all of you. We've got Rowdy Kelly checking in this morning saying dry, partly clear morning in McKinleyville. So it looks like we are seeing some patchy fog in some of those areas here. We got Jeff Johnson checking in. Glad to have you back from Debbie Castro. Jeff Johnson looks like a bit of a regular, as well as Rowdy Kelly. All right, that's going to do it for us this morning. Maybe one last check of the weather here. Let's take a look at some of the cameras, and then you'll be able to see what's going on there. Otherwise, we're going to call it a morning. We're going to call it a show, and do with it as you wish. Maybe enjoy the beautiful scenery of Northern California like we have here, coming in from the Soda Ridge camera, looking at beautiful Mount Shasta. That's going to do it for us today. Hope you have yourselves a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow morning right here on Coffee with Krueger at 6:30. Have a good one, folks.